welcome to What's New in Electronics Live 2019. Now I'm joined by Debbie Wade, Advanced Rework Technology, Colleen Wong from Techsixtyfour, and Claire Saunders from What's New in Electronics, actually. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Now this is the Flight Roundtable here, Female Leaders in Tech. Now, Colleen, we're going to be talking about some of the successes you've had in the industry. The title of the session is I'm a Woman in Tech, and this is why, which I will pass over to you.
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Colleen Wong. I am the founder of My Gator Watch, which is a brand under my company Techsixtyfour. So it was about 4 years ago when I had the idea for the business. I actually had no technology background or education. I just had 2 little children. And because I had these 2 little children, I asked myself, how can I stay more connected with them without giving them a smartphone? So that's when I had the idea for My Gator Watch, which I'm wearing here now, which is a wearable mobile phone and tracker made for children between the ages of 5 and 11, so just before secondary school. I'm hoping that it will give parents an amazing alternative to a smartphone, so allowing them to be more connected with their children. Because it is a mobile phone, you can call them and your child can call you, but it also doesn't have access to the internet, social media, games, or a camera. So 4 years ago, I had this idea without any idea as to how to build this or create the product. I just began doing some research, first on Google, then asking people who I knew were in the industry, both in who have engineering backgrounds, software development, and then I just kept asking and asking and asking. About 8 months later, I had the first product ready, and I had my first customer. Now, 4 years later, I have thousands of amazing parents who have bought the watch. Our reviews are phenomenal, and you can see it on Amazon if you went on there. And right now, I'm at a stage where we've had the feedback, we've changed the product, we've made it better and better over the years, and now we're ready to scale up. And in addition to the children's market, we're also now focusing on the over 65s market. It's been incredible because a lot of the parents who had bought My Gator Watch came to us and said, oh my gosh, I want to buy that for my own parent. And then so it got us thinking, there's a new market out there for exactly the same product. So right now, we're building our next generation wearable, and it'll be targeted, and we'll be adding more features, especially targeted to the over 65s market, which include things like fall detection or heart rate monitoring. Yeah, so that's where I am now.
So how, you've gone from having an idea as a startup, I guess, proving it, developing it, now being CEO, Chief Technical Officer, I guess, and seeing where it's going to go on from there. I mean, you make it sound very easy, but there must have been a lot of work go into that.
It definitely has not been easy in any way. And yes, I had all the hats on as CEO, CTO, CFO, everything. Now I've actually hired a CTO. Yeah, so it's amazing to be able to now hand off certain roles, to people who do it better, and that's what I'm ready and willing to do now. Finding people, bringing them in who do a much better job than I do. It's been challenging. It's challenging every day, to be really honest. When you have to deal with everything for the business, and especially financially as well. How do you keep a startup financially afloat? You see so many stories of these billion-dollar valuations. Sometimes what we don't see are headlines of, this small startup has actually turned their first profit, That's actually more amazing than how many billions that they've raised. For a startup to turn a profit, it's unbelievable. And we just did. Yeah. Well, I know. It's hard.
Unfortunately, that's often the story, isn't it? That the headlines, they look for problems. They don't look, those small, good success stories don't often make the headlines. Yeah. But there must be thousands of them out there. Just to, I mean, so you had this idea. What then did you do? Did you go to look for funding first, or can it be developed?
I first of all searched on Google to see if there were competitors. That was the very first thing. Was this product already in the market?
Were you surprised that it wasn't?
I was very surprised. Yeah, most times I have some crazy idea and then I Google it and it's already there and it's done by 10 people, But for the very first time, it wasn't done, at least not in Europe. Yeah, it was done actually in Asia. Right. But yeah, so I thought, fantastic. Next step.
Which was?
Which was get a sample. If it's already been done in Asia, I don't have to reinvent the wheel and start from scratch. I didn't have very much money, so it's all about thinking, how do I show the product to people without having to sell my house, sell my child? Yeah.
That wouldn't be good, no.
So I asked for products, to get shipped to me from China, and then I tested them, and I revamped them. I changed it to make it better, 100 times better.
Do you think that a secret of this success was because you were so invested in it? You weren't being tasked to do it by anyone else. You wanted this product for yourself, primarily, I guess. But then also the belief went through everything as you had all the hats on.
I believe in it so much, and I believed in it from the beginning. I think that's definitely a thread that has, gone through every single day, every year that I've built this, for sure.
Did you go into, when you were getting this developed and looking for funding, all those sort of things, did you find any resistance because you're a woman? It's a horrible question to ask, but
it's a good question to ask, actually, because a lot of startups who are led by women face that problem. I've never been told to my face directly that we won't support you because you're a woman. However, I've had a lot of pushback, but the pushback has been, we don't believe in hardware, or we don't like your business because you're the sole founder, So to be really honest, I don't know if these things are said to me because they're more, they sound better, or it's because I'm a mom who's building a hardware brand in my kitchen, and I have to do pickups and drop-offs every day, so I don't know.
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah,
Did
please.
you ever find that they were more surprised by the fact that you were a woman? Not they were being negative that you are a woman, but did you get the initial shock? They're like, but it's a startup and you're a woman.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've had that a few times.
In hardware.
Yeah, when it comes to electronics and printed circuit boards and stuff, you've had an idea and you want to try and develop something, and you're going to fiddle with things, and you're a lady. That's not what you do. I know, Debbie, that's something that you have.
At trade shows, they come over and they're like, "Can I speak to the MD?" You're talking to the MD, and they just glance at you, and they don't say anything, but you're getting that glance like, "But you're a woman, and this is technology." We assumed you're like the PA or the sales, and like, "Well, I can do that too. I can put on any hats you like," and they just give you a funny look.
And the funny thing is on WhatsApp, and I use WhatsApp, to do international calls with, different suppliers and whatnot. And I've always had my name. So my name's Colleen, but I always put on WhatsApp my name's Col, just because all my mates call me Col. And so they always assume it's Colin. Yeah. So that's when their surprise comes in, when I actually meet them.
Yeah, we sign off on the email with your full name, like, "Oh, it's a woman."
Yeah.
Congratulations, you noticed.
You said that a few times, actually.
I have, can you tell? That just rolls off the tongue.
No, you like you say, you come across those issues which, okay, maybe they're perfectly understandable mistakes, but it speaks a lot about people's perceptions, preconceptions, and where we think the workplace is still, which it shouldn't be. There's no reason why anyone shouldn't be coming into this sector, but there's this definite shortage of women coming into. There's a shortage of people coming into it all over, I think. But do you think some of the reasons that women aren't given this as a career direction, isn't down to the industry as much as society's perception of the industry?
I think so, and sometimes it's the fact we're not promoting the industry to the full extent we could. Because when people think of engineers, they think of more hardware, hands-on, they assume it's going to be heavy lifting, and they're like, well, I'm a woman, I can't do that. So we really need to promote the STEM to the schools, the universities, to get them more involved in the engineering and the technologies, to make them aware it's not just getting your hands really dirty in the heavy lifting. So they realise that anyone can do the job, regardless of whether you're male or female.
Yeah. Do you think it's been more of a struggle to make it work being a woman because of those issues?
Some people I speak to, yes, but I think we both have this skill that we thrive on the negative. And that's what drives us to prove that just because we're a woman, that we can be just as good, if not better, than anyone else in the industry. So yeah, we've learned to strive on that negative. But also I think that we've learned to think outside the box. So with a start-up, with a new product, we've got to get from A to Z. And we can look at ways of getting there that some other people wouldn't think of, because we're trying to juggle a family, young family, a career. So we can really broaden our way of thinking to get to Z the quickest route possible.
It's having that strength of will, isn't it? I mean, running a show like this is no easy feat, is it?
It's a walk in the park.
Okay.
It's all about multitasking. That's what it's about. And again, with women in industry or women in any sort of role, we're used to doing more than one thing at one time. And that's no disrespect to men, but it's, we juggle balls all the time. And it could be, if it's picking the kids up, cooking dinner, sending an invoice, launching a new product, whatever it is, you get the job done one way or another.
What you do is a definition of that, wasn't it?
Yeah. You're sitting at your kitchen designing a watch. I mean, I haven't even tried to go on the hand soldering competition, so...
We'd get you on there one day.
Strength of will can get you through virtually anything, but do you think there are barriers to women coming in and working their way up if they haven't got that vision maybe of having a product they want to launch or a business they want to launch?
I think that there's a great opportunity in this industry for women at the moment because everybody wants to have a more balanced workforce. But women aren't being encouraged to come in. And most of it, I guess, is down to women ourselves because we're not sure that it's open to us. So it's if I was in a position and I was aware of the shortages and how many of our customers here want to have women working for them, I'd be you can pretty much say, I'm here, I'm available. What are you going to pay me? But we're just not getting to them quicker. And soon enough, and at university it's too late. If they're at university by that time, they've kind of made their decision, or they think they know where they want to go. And that's why having success stories of people starting their own business, and Debbie's just launched in different countries, and Colleen's won all sorts of awards. So it's being recognised that women are able to achieve roles that predominantly people perceive as being a male's place.
Yeah. And again, it's a societal thing as well, isn't it? That we have these predefined roles, don't we? It's interesting that engineer doesn't have a male or female version, is it? You have actor or actress, but an engineer is a title. Yet, so often the preconception is of a male. And it is senseless, really, isn't it? There's no need for it to be perceived like that. But do you think this problem with not getting STEM into schools, colleges, is something that we can solve easily, or is there will it take years to? Because there's a lot of businesses crying out for stuff.
I think we are going in the right direction. It's still going to take a lot more work to introduce it to the schools, but it's not so much us getting into the schools, it's the schools wanting to actually get involved, adding something else to a curriculum. There's obviously money involved, hours involved, all the legwork, but it's something they obviously need to wake up and smell the coffee, that we need to do it. It's something that has to be done, otherwise we're just losing such a workforce. All of the older engineers that may not be that skilled with all the computers, everything that when they retire is all up here. When that's gone, you've got no traceability. Yeah. So try and pass on that knowledge, the designs, the flaws in the designs, how they overcome those flaws. It's all up in their head. There's nothing written down that they can follow. So we need to get those people working with those older engineers before we lose that skill.
And I mean, Colleen, as an entrepreneur, do you feel that people can define the way they want to work? You don't have to work the way others do or society thinks you should work?
Definitely, 100%. You shouldn't have to have anyone define it. And for myself, for example, I can't work in an office. My kids come first. And so I have to define my own day. And I choose to work from home because, I don't live in London. And it's the way that I can take my kids to and from school the quickest way possible so that I have more time to work, for example. And because I do that, the whole flexible working thing then comes into play. For example, my entire team of 13 now, they all work flexibly. They're all mums and dads of young children. And so I've kind of created a work environment where they have to put their kids first. So they all work from their phones, they all work from from wherever they want, really. And so yes, I think we definitely can create the way in which we think the business will work in the best way it can.
Which is fantastic, because that doesn't need legislation, that doesn't need directives. It's the desire to do it. That's all you need, actually, and you can make that work. Now, Claire, I know you work constantly. So, that sense of self-discipline, do you find that you have to work that extra bit to keep it all moving, especially running your own business?
I think running your own business is where the issue lies, and you can't stop working because you're supporting yourself, you're supporting your family, you need to achieve, and you always want to do more. So, and you've always got ideas. So, I work with my husband. So when we do the same job, so we work and live together, and discuss over dinner. It's all the time. It's something that I'd like to change, and I keep promising myself that I will.
Your husband?
He'll be watching this. No, he's fine for the moment. But no, it's difficult to juggle everything. It's difficult to switch off because you want to achieve more, and like you say, nobody ever says, "Well done, you've made money," and it takes so long to get there. And then you can get to a point where you're making something, and then you have an issue with if it's politics or if it's sanctions or taxes that just knocks you back, and then you're back to square one, and you think, how is this happening? But the UK is made up of small businesses, and it's made of people, entrepreneurs, and that's why we have a level of self-sufficiency, because we're always thinking of new things to do. So it's hard, but it's important, and if you actually take time out and you work more flexible hours, you actually achieve more, because I think it's everything to do with if you're an engineer, male or female. That's a type, that's a historical thing that people think an engineer should be a man. It's historical that people think you need to sit at the office from 9 to 5. That's not true anymore. There's so many different ways of communication. You should work with the hours that suit you, and the main thing is to achieve the goal. And for employers to understand that as well is very difficult.
Yeah.
So
I think just carrying on from what you were saying about running a business, I wouldn't be surprised though if you spoke to a man that ran his own business. He would probably say the same as Claire, that they're always aiming to achieve the best they possibly could.
Yeah.
They would put the hours in, but you may just find the difference being the way men and women react with their emotions different. So you may think that we have to work hard or we've got more struggles, but we may just present those emotions different to the way a man would. I bet if you were to sit down and we had a man and a woman sitting on his bench together, both running their own business, that they would probably say exactly the same thing. It's just the way we express ourselves may be slightly different.
And cope with pressures.
So they may think, she's a woman, she's struggling. Well, no, just the way we've expressed what's going on may be different to a way a man would.
And every business struggles. Every business owner struggles at some point. You cannot expect to go into business and not have testing times, can you? What piece of advice would you give your 16-year-old self if you could go back and whisper in your ear when you're 16? Start with Debbie.
Are you sure you want to answer?
Yes. Doesn't have to be doing work.
I don't think I would give myself as a 16-year-old any advice that I haven't already said to myself when I was 40 or 41. It's just a case of don't give up, don't give in, don't let anyone, whether it's a male or a female, bully you into doing something you don't want to do. You know the direction you want to go, and you stick with that. You know you want to get to that point sometime in your life. Just don't take no for an answer.
Colleen?
I guess I would have told myself when I was 16 just to ask people for help and not be afraid of doing it. I do it now, and I think I'm largely here because of that. It's because when I ask for help, people are like, oh my gosh, yes, I will help you. And I think back then I was just like, I'm too shy, what are they going to think of me? If I ask for help, do I seem weak? So yeah, I have to do that.
Yeah.
I can't remember being 16. When I was 16, what would I say? Again, similar to Debbie, I knew that I wanted to achieve something, and I have a goal. Set realistic goals. Don't get too disheartened if you don't do exactly what you thought you were going to do, because there are challenges you can't see, and that's one thing. I think when I was younger, failure felt worse. Now, if you look at stuff, you've done your best. And that's all you can do. And try to be a nice person when you're doing it, because you're always going to bump into somebody that maybe you didn't think you would, and maybe you've done something wrong in the past, or they've done something wrong to you. Just remember, the world is a very small place now, so don't make enemies.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think that often men will be tempted to bluff and bluster the way through if they don't know something, rather than asking for help?
Definitely, especially with training. Obviously, I train people to go back to their own company and train, and that's one bit of advice I give anyone on my class. If you don't know the answer, be honest. Yeah. If you were to baffle them with an answer and hope they believe what you're telling them, they find out that what you've told them is wrong, you're going to lose that respect. And if you then got to go on and train them on other training programs, they're like, well, I'm not going to listen to you, you don't know what you're talking about. So it doesn't matter who I'm training, that's always advice I give. If you don't know, be honest. And just say, I will go and source this answer for you. Or if you know someone is going to know the answer, say, well, here's their contact details. Just say, I've pointed you in that direction, and please come back and tell me you got the answer you needed. And if not, I will assist you in some way I can.
Yeah. What aided you the most? Was it self-confidence or confidence in the product?
I didn't have confidence in the product until the consumers actually gave me the feedback. Yeah. I generally do have, I think, more confidence than some women who I speak to, because a lot of people have imposter syndrome. I'm sure you've heard of that. And when people ask me that question, I always say, no, I don't. But I also think I don't, and I have that confidence because I've asked everyone already. Right? All the questions that I have. And so when you have the answers, then you're just confident. Yeah. And so that's why I always think, go back to the very first step. If you don't know it, and you're out there, you're like a deer in the headlights, right? You just don't know you're not confident because you don't know what's coming. But if you know everything, you're fully confident.
Yeah, you've got that information there. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add to that? I mean,
one question about the Gator Watch, if you don't mind. Is it a UK product? Is it branded as a British product?
It is a British product, yes. Okay. Because I'm British, and I built the product. The brand is a British brand.
And is it manufactured now in the UK, or is it manufactured?
No, it's manufactured like almost every consumer electronic product.
Okay.
In China.
Okay. Yeah. And when you did the prototype, was that done? Again, I mean, obviously over and above what you did. Where did you do the prototype? Did you get any help and support from sort of anybody in the manufacturing industry, the government, anything like that?
Not the government, but friends, networks in the UK or in Europe or my home country of Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got help to revamp the product from people from all over the world, I would say.
And did you find that quite easy to come by? I mean, like you say, you went out and you looked for the help, but you found it okay.
I ask everyone. Seriously, and it's not 6 degrees of separation anymore. Right. It's much less. Yeah. So when you go out there and you ask your whole network, and they believe in you, they're going to go and ask other people, which is exactly what happened. You know, when I studied at a few different schools, for example, I would reach out to all my old classmates, and my old classmates would then reach out to their people, you know, to their friends. So yeah.
It's a case of I don't know, I can't help you, but I know someone that can.
Exactly.
And they will reach out to that person on your behalf. But as you said, if they are confident in you, they would be happy to pass on that information of people that can help, because you have that confidence.
Well, that's it. That's the ultimate confidence, to be able to say, I don't know, but we can find out.
And also the idea of the watch is just, it's brilliant. It's just, you know, because kids have a habit of losing themselves.
My kids would love it.
Are there any questions from the floor? Is there one? No? It's on sale now, though, isn't it? Is it?
It is. It's on our website and also on Amazon.
Yeah.
Our website is mygatorwatch.com.
So buy one for your kids and buy one for your parents. I
I think I'm going to buy one for my parents, not that they know how to work it.
That's the point, isn't it? I think
It's
actually
very simple.
Yeah. So, how much interaction do the kids have with it?
The kids love it. They think it's like a spy watch.
Yeah.
Right? Because the target range is 5 to 11. So most kids that age still don't, haven't had their very own smartphone. So for them to have a gadget, so my son has it now because he's 5 now, and he thinks it's the most wonderful thing. You know, he can call me from anywhere, and it's great.
Oh, fantastic. And the one for over 65s, will that have basically similar functionality?
I'm going to try to make it even more simple. I think for me, it's all about simplicity. And so for that product, yes, that is one of the things we're keeping in mind.
Yep.
How to keep it really simple. When they need it, how do they use it to call who they need to call?
Yeah.
To be fair, 11-year-olds probably know more than we do about electronics these days.
So the product development then, what are you looking at next? Obviously the next model for over 65s, but then is it a case of refining it, making it smaller, making it have other features?
Yeah, exactly that. I always look at battery life. So for me, how do I extend the battery life? So many new technologies are coming out, and also what kind of network, in terms of telecoms. Do we use 3G? Do we use 4G? Do we use 5G? So it's asking these questions. How do we fit in everything into the size that customers have fed back to us that they would prefer? Can we make it waterproof? How do we add on features such as fall detection? How do we develop the software? So for example, now, most consumer products that have GPS tracking, the accuracy is about 5 to 10 meters. So then I want to know, how do I make that better? How do I make it, almost to military standards, but commercially? So to a meter. So these are the questions that I ask myself.
Yeah.
And 1,000 more.
Yeah. It never stops. Well, thank you for talking to us. That's fantastic. Well, it's a fantastic story, but it's, it's great from so many aspects. The electronics industry can work like this, that you can bring a product to market. I'd say so easily, but I know it's been a very hard road to get there. But it's very impressive.
But that's another skill us women have. We can make things look easy.
That's it. Well, thank you very much for talking to us all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.